Good day, students. Once again, this is a very short, important question at the same time. We are required, first of all, I like to start with the requirements. We are required to calculate the following for Sisa Ltd. Or requirement number A, the total cost for the 30,000 units that were produced during 2016. Then after, calculate what the expected machine rental cost will be for 2017 if Sisa expects to produce 45,000 units. Another question that is very important to be mindful and be noteful of. It says in the beginning that Sisa Ltd is a manufacturing company that manufactures chairs. Okay. During the 2016 financial year, Sisa Ltd produced 30,000 chairs at the following cost. So now this is what Sisa Ltd has manufactured during the 2016 accounting period or production period. And now we are given what we can call the standard cost. We have the wood, which is 1.5 meter per chair, meaning we need a wood that is equal to 1.5 meter for us to complete one chair. And the cost per meter is 7.50 Rand. So now that means the direct material cost per unit will be the multiplication of the two. So now the direct material that we need per unit will be the sum of 7.50 times this by the meters that we buy per chair or per unit. So now meaning the cost of material will be 1.5 meters times this by 7.50 of the cost per meter. That means the cost of material per unit will be 11.25 Rand. So now we are given the cost per unit. Remember, we need to manufacture 30,000 units. So now if we multiply 30,000 by 11.25 Rand, we will get to the total material that will be incurred to manufacture the 30,000 units. Therefore, now that will give us 11.25 Rand. Multiply this by the 30,000 units, it will be a total of 337,500, which is the total material cost to manufacture 30,000 units, which the cost per unit is 11.25 Rand. Now in this one, they don't give us the total, or they did not give us the total, but they gave us the per unit. Therefore, now we are moving from the per unit to the total, but that might be necessary or not necessary depending to what is required. We are again given the labor hours that it takes to complete one unit. They are telling us that the labor is 3 hours, and we are definitely assuring you that, or assuming that this is a direct labor cost, which is a variable cost. And we know that variable cost per unit are fixed. That therefore means also with regards to the material that we have dealt with, the 11.25 Rand is a fixed cost per unit, because direct cost are variable and variable cost per unit are fixed. Let me say this again. Direct cost are variable and variable cost per unit are fixed. So now that means this 11.25 Rand is fixed per unit. Be mindful of that. In total, it changes, the number of units changes, meaning if we produce more units, our variable cost in total will change based on the level of activity or based on the number of units that are manufactured at that given period. Now let me come back to labor. Now we are told that it takes 3 hours to complete one chair, and employees are paid 21 Rand per hour. Remember, employees are paid a rate per hour. For every hour that you work, you should be getting paid for that hour. So now for every time the employees are completing an hour, they are being paid 21 Rand. And 3 hours is the time it takes to complete one unit, meaning one chair. So that means the direct labor cost per unit now will be 21 rand times that by the number of hours it takes to complete 1 unit. So now this will give us 43 rand per unit, meaning the cost of direct labor for 1 unit will be 43 rand. Let me confirm that. 21 times by the number of hours will be 63. I don't know why I have 43. Thanks for that. Just thought it's multiply by 2 now. Now it will be 63 rand per unit. So now that means it will be the cost per unit of labor. Therefore, now if we want to know the total cost of labor to manufacture 30,000 units, we'll have to multiply this by 30,000 units so that we know how much was the total cost of labor to manufacture 30,000 units. So now we multiply this by 30,000 units in order for us to get to the 1,890,000 rands. 1,890,000 rands. So now this will be our total cost of labor. Now let me just check if my figures, if they do match. The previous one, which was material, I just want to confirm 11 rand 25 cents was multiplied that by 30,000, and we got to 337,500. Okay, I thought it was 3 million. 337,500. Then we get now here 1,890,000 rands because our employees were being paid 63 rand per unit that they have completed. So now the 1,890,000 is the total cost of labor. As in the previous question, they will normally give us the total cost. Then after I will say the total cost divide. We normally say total cost divide that by the number of units that were manufactured. I don't know why this now is disappearing. We normally used to say the total cost, which we have calculated the labor to be 1,890,000. Total cost divide this by 30,000 units. Therefore, now this will give us the same 63 rand. And also with regards to labor material, we said 337,500. Let me check if that is the case. 11 rand 25 cents. Multiply this by 30,000, it was 337,500. We are normally given the totals, then we divide the totals by the number of units, 30,000, and that will still give us the same 11 rand 25 cents. So now that is very important to be able to convert from the per unit to the total and from the total to the per unit calculation. Now we are done with that. Again, I don't know why this disappears and whenever I save. Now we go to the next part that is also very crucial. Machine rent, meaning we did not buy our machine, but we are leasing or we are renting the machine or leasing the machine. And the rent per machine is 16,000 per machine per year, meaning in 1 year we rent a machine for 16,500 for the full year. We are not focusing on the monthly rental. They didn't give us the monthly rental, but they gave us the annual rental. Remember, you can be required to calculate the monthly rental or based on the information to convert your figures to be per month. Therefore, now you'll have to say 16,500 divide this by 12. Then we'll say 1,375 is the monthly rent. 1,375 is the monthly rent. Why this is important is because sometimes you might be given annual figures, but you are working on a monthly figures or on monthly figures. Now we come to the next one, or the same sentence. Very important. It says, each machine has the capacity to produce 8,000 shares, meaning we can only produce up to the maximum. The capacity is the maximum that we can produce. So now the maximum that we can produce is only 8,000 units of shares in a machine within a period of a year. We cannot produce more than 8,000 in the period of a year. That therefore means that if we want to produce more than 8,000, we'll need to hire another machine, and that another machine will cost us another 16,500. Even if we want to manufacture, let us say 9,000, and we know that each one machine will produce a total of 8,000. If we want 9,000, one machine will produce a total of 8,000. Then we'll need another machine only to produce the 1,000 units. But this machine that will produce 1,000 units will still be paying the annual rental of 16,500, even if we are producing less than the capacity. So please be mindful of all of that, because that is the main focus of this question. Now we go to the next one. We have our factory rent of 10,000 per month. Be mindful, it's per month. So now if we are dealing with the annual figures, we'll have to multiply that by 12 in order for us to get 220,000 of the factory rent. We have factory cleaner who is paid an amount of the salary of 3,000 per month, and that will be also multiplied by 12 in order for us to get to 36,000 rands. That will be, I think I'm correct with those calculations without calculating. 3,000 multiply this by 12 is 36,000 rands. I want you to also be mindful of the fact that the factory rent is a manufacturing overhead, and the factory cleaner is a manufacturing overhead. The cleaner is just cleaning the factory. Be mindful, it's not cleaning anywhere. If he was cleaning in the administration building, that is not related to production. Therefore, the factory cleaner salary will be a non-manufacturing cost, but now it is a factory overhead, because the cleaner is cleaning the factory so that we are working in the perfect and right condition, clean and neat at all times. Now we can say now these two are both manufacturing overheads cost. Remember, the cost of production is direct material plus direct labor plus manufacturing overheads. We get to the total cost of production, either per unit or in total, depending to what you are required to calculate. Now we are then now coming to the requirements, although I've already done the analysis and have calculated the figures that were necessary. We are now required to calculate the total cost for the 30,000 units produced during the 2016 accounting or production period. Remember, how many units are we producing? We are producing 30,000. I'm focusing on the machine now. My explanation is targeting the machine. We want to produce 30,000 units. How much is the capacity of the machine? The machine can only produce 8,000 units per year. So that means for us to produce 30,000, we need more than one machine. Then we first need to know how many machines we need to have, so that we can determine how much rent we need to pay for the machine, so that we are able to calculate the rental cost with regards to the production of the 30,000 units. Now let me just do my workings there, calculating the number of machines that we need. Number of machines is the key. First here we need to know how many machines we need, and we'll say 30,000 units divide by the capacity that a machine can produce. So now if we say 30,000 and we divide 30,000 by the 8,000, which is the capacity, this will tell us that we need 3.75 machines, meaning we need 4 machines, because the other machine 3.75 machines that we need. Therefore now that means we need 4 machines are required in order for us to 4 machines are required in order for us to manufacture the 30,000 units. Remember, this will be 8,000 for machine 1, and another machine will manufacture another 8,000. Machine 3 will manufacture another 8,000. If we add the 3, let us just do it in this format at the same time. We have 8,000 times by 3. That means we will be having 24,000 units. That means 3 machines will not reach the target of 30,000. Why am I saying that? Because we need to manufacture 30,000 units. So now 3 machines can only manufacture 24,000, because each machine manufactures 8,000, 8,000, and 8,000. So now that means we need, sorry for that 0, that means we need another machine that will produce the 6,000 units, so that we manufacture the total of 30,000 units. That's why now I'm saying we need 4 machines. The rounding off was based on the fact that each machine can only manufacture 8,000 in terms of the maximum capacity for the full year. So now we'll need another machine, which will be machine 4, to manufacture only the 6,000 units in order to make to the total of the 30,000 units that we want to manufacture. Remember now, each of the machine either is producing 8,000 or is producing less than 8,000, like machine 4, we are still going to be paying the same amount of the rent per annum as 16,500. So now that means the rental of the machine will be 16,500 times this by 4 to get to the cost of the machine rent for the full year in the production of 30,000 units. Now let me respond to the question calculating the cost of production. Now we are calculating production cost if we want to manufacture a total of 30,000 units. Production cost of 30,000 units, that is our target, 30,000 units. We need our direct material. Our direct material, as we said, that it is 1.5 meters times this by the total of 7 rand 50 cents. 7 rand 50 cents is the total. Then we will get to the 11 rand 25 cents per unit, and we multiply this by the total of the 30,000 units in order for us to get to the cost of the material in total. Let me write it at the bottom because there is limitation of space. Space becomes now a limiting factor. Then we said it will be 1.5 meters times this by 7 rand 50 cents per meter, and we said this will give us 11 rand 25 cents per unit, meaning the cost of material per unit will be 11 rand 25 cents to buy each material. Multiply this by the number of units that we want to manufacture. We said it will give us 337,500 rands as the accurate figure. Just confirm the figure. 1.5 times this by 7 rand 50 cents, 11 rand 25. Multiply this by 30,000 units. It will be 337,000 rands 500 of the direct material. Then we need our direct labor. We need our direct labor. Our direct labor, we know that our employees are being paid 21 rand and they spend 3 hours to complete 1 unit. And we said this will give us 63 rand times, again, this is by 30,000. Again, there's no space. You'll ask, why did I know? Right at the bottom, yet I know there's no space. I also don't know. Now we go to the next one. 3 hours times this by 21 rand will give us 63 rand, which we calculated previously per unit. Then we multiply this by the number of units that we expect to manufacture, and this gave us 1,890,000. 1,890,000 rands. Let me confirm that figure too. We said it takes 3 hours to complete 1 unit, and employees are being paid 21 rand. That gave us 63 rand. How many units do we want to manufacture? 30,000 units. Therefore, the cost of labor is 1,890,000 in total. Therefore, now we need our manufacturing overheads. Manufacturing overheads. Our manufacturing overheads, we have machine rent. Our machine rent, we need how many machines? We need 4 machines. Therefore, now we'll say 16,500 times by 4. 16,500 multiply this by 4. Now, where is the 4 coming from? You definitely know. Where is the 16.5 coming from? You definitely know. We have shown you all the calculations before doing what we are doing. Remember, for the labor, for the material first, 1.5 times by 750, it gave us 11 rand 25 cents. And we multiply this by the units that we want to manufacture. Then after, when it comes to labor, just to remind you, we said times this 3 times by 21, it gave us 63 per unit, multiply this by the number of units. So that's where the 1,890,000 is coming from. Now we said we need 4 machines. Where the 4 machines coming from? Remember, 8,000, 8,000, 8,000 and 6,000 will be another machine that will be paying the same amount at the end of the day. So now we come and we do those calculations. In doing those calculations, it's very important to show your workings. Definitely show your workings. You have to say 30,000, divide this by 8,000 is equal to 3.75, which is equivalent to 4 machines, times by 16,500. That will be the cost of the machine for the full year. 16,500 times this by 4, we get to 66,000 rands. We get to 66,000 rands. We get to 66,000 rands as the cost of the machine. 66,000 rands. Now, that will be the machine rent for the full year. Then we come now to other overheads that were given to us. We had factory rent 10,000 times by 12 because we need it for the full year. Then we had factory rent. Our factory rent, there will definitely be a space 10,000, multiply this by 12. It will give us a total of 120,000 rands. Then another one, we had factory cleaner salary. Factory cleaner salary. Factory cleaner, the salary of the factory cleaner. That factory cleaner is paid a lousy 3,000 a month. Times this by 12. 3,000 a month. Wow. Now let's proceed on that same note. We say 3,000. Multiply this by 12. It gives us 36,000 rands. So now our factory overheads will be plus 120,000 rands plus 66,000 rands. This will give us 222,000 rands. So now this will be our factory overheads. Direct material plus direct labor plus factory overheads will give us the total cost of production. 222,000 rands is our factory overheads that we had to take into consideration. Now we have noted all of that. Then we go to the next edition, now adding all the figures that are given to us. Now let us add our direct material, our direct labor plus overheads to get to the total cost of production. 222,000 plus 1,890,000 rands plus 337,500. This will give us 2 million, in fact, 2,449,500. This will be the cost of production, or the total cost of production, or what we call the manufacturing cost. So now our manufacturing cost will be this sum. We need also to divide that to become per unit if we want to do so. This is a cost of production, total. Sometimes they like to say total cost, otherwise it is the total. We have our total cost of production. Remember, if you wanted to calculate the cost per unit, we just divide this by 30,000. If you divide this by 30,000, you'll get to the 81.65 cents, but that is not a requirement. Just to remind you of what we did in the other questions. Now we are going to number B, the last part and the short part of the question. We are done and dusted already with this question. Now we are required to calculate what the expected machine rental cost will be for 2017 if the company Sisa expects to produce 45,000. Now we need to know that each machine can only produce 8,000 units. That's what we know. So now we need to calculate how many 8,000s will be there, or how many times does 8,000 go to 45,000 units that we want to manufacture. So now once again, we are looking first for the number of machines that we need. we need to know the number of machines. Let us say one machine will produce 8,000. Second machine will produce another 8,000. This is the long way, but at the same time the easiest one. Another machine will produce 8,000. Obviously it will be more than 4 machines. Another machine will produce 8,000. Let us check 8,000 times by 4. How much do we get? 8,000 times by 4. We get 32,000. We might still need another one. 8,000 times by 5. 40,000. Okay, we still need more here. So we need another 8,000 and it's still less. So we'll need another machine number 6. We need more than 5 machines. And it's very likely to be 6. Let us check 8,000, which is the capacity. Remember, 8,000 units is one machine. Hence, I'm saying 8,000. I'm saying one machine, which is 8,000 units, and which is equal to that, which comes to equivalence to what we want to manufacture, times by 6. 48,000. Okay, 8,000 times by 5. It will be 40. So now the 6th one will only manufacture 5,000 units in order for us to get to the total of what we want to manufacture, 45,000. 8,000, 8,000, 8,000 times by 6 times by 5 will give us 40,000. Therefore, the next machine will only manufacture 5,000 units. Remember, each machine we are paying 16.5. Each machine we are paying 16,500 throughout. So now, even if we manufacture 5,000, we will still going to be paying the same 8,000 per annum. So now, as I said to you, this is a very long approach, but for you to see the bigger picture, the simple version. So now we need 6 machines are needed or are required, which is 45,000 units. Divide this by 8,000 in a simple way. Let us check in that simple version. 45,000 divide this by the capacity, the number of units that you want to manufacture in each machine, 5.625. So now that means that will be rounded off to 6 machines. The simple version is to divide. The longer version is just for you to see the bigger picture, that each machine is producing only 8,000 units. So now we will need 6 machines, and each machine we are paying 16,500 per annum. Then we need the number of machines first. Number of machines required. Number of machines required to produce 45,000 units. How many machines do we need? It will be 45,000 units that you want to manufacture. Divide this by the capacity. It gives us, that was 5.625. 5.625, which is equal to 6 machines will be required. And we need now the cost of each machine. Then total cost to manufacture 45,000 units will be 16,500 times by 6. 16,500 multiply this by 6. It gives us 99,000 rands. So now that means this is, or this will be the cost of the machine rent to manufacture 45,000 units. Now with that, guys, let me say thank you very much.